Thanks for staying with us at STL Live. I'm Sarah Thompson, and my guest is Brian Spath of Cinema St. Louis. And we were discussing in the first segment the St. Louis Science Fiction and Fantasy Short Film Festival that's coming up in May, and currently submissions are being accepted for that. But I kind of want to just again remind people, whenever they hear about the film festival, there's always Cinema St. Louis, Cinema St. Louis, every time there's a film festival in town. And do people really know what Cinema St. Louis does?
You know, I think for the most part, if they know that we do film festivals, that's sufficient. That's not necessarily enough, but it is sufficient. You know, we actually have a reputation where anytime there is a film festival happening in town, people pretty much automatically assume that it is ours.
Right.
Which, you know, is on one hand that's good, but at the other time that there's organizations that are putting on these events, and you know they deserve their due diligence as well.
So as a nonprofit, what essentially is the mission?
The mission is to bring, you know, cinematic opportunities to the St. Louis area that people may not otherwise have. A lot of times people just think that with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, all these different streaming sources available to them, that they can see any movie at any time, which isn't necessarily true. We bring a lot of films to St. Louis that people may not ever otherwise have a chance to see ever again. You know, these streaming sources definitely make it easier to see films after the fact, but that there are opportunities still in St. Louis to see something that you may not otherwise have a chance to see.
And the big event that everyone looks forward to every year is the St. Louis International Film Festival. Remind people what that is. I mean, that's huge.
It is, yeah, it's very big. We're entering our 27th year this November, which is fantastic. That's a pretty substantial number at this point. But we run for 11 days at venues across town: Tivoli Theater, Frontenac Cinema, Webster University, Washington University. So we're at a lot of different venues spread across town, hopefully giving great opportunity for people to come out and see something and close to their neighborhoods. But we run for 11 days. We bring films from all over the world. Last year we had over 400 countries represented. Not 400 countries. We had over 70 countries represented through 400 films. That would be, you know, that would be phenomenal. But we're not quite there yet. But yeah, so you know, giving opportunity for many different voices and lifestyles and countries to be seen and understood and hopefully appreciated or lend some sort of understanding to the universal plight that everybody goes through.
Yeah, and so many genres are covered. I mean, you do at the film festival, I mean, documentaries and animation and dramas. Talk about, too, when people hear for films, kind of like the process of a film. Like if it does well at a film festival, what kind of happens next? Because I think that's where people, they recognize Sundance, or they know for smaller film festivals, but what's the sort of circuit or the route that a film might go?
You know, yeah, so Sundance is underway right now, and Sundance is really a prime example as a market festival. Our festival, St. Louis International Film Fest, is really more of a regional festival, which is really just serving the needs of the audience in the region. Whereas Sundance is more of the glitz and glamour, and like I said, serves as a market. So that's where studios and distributors are going to buy films and then bring them to audiences through, you know, the traditional theatrical circuit. So a film, if it's selected to play at Sundance, will screen. There will be any number of different agencies, distributors, studios in attendance, and if they like it, you know, they'll start bidding to secure the rights to distribute the film. So the studio then, if they do purchase a film, changes may be made to the film. There's, you know, any sort of number of different things that could happen, but more or less the films are generally the same, and they could turn it around quickly. You know, they buy it in January, they could turn it around and play it in April. But you know, if there's a film with a lot of significant Oscar buzz, they'll delay it until end of year and see what comes of it then.
And then here we can look forward to, obviously, St. Louis International Film Festival, the big one. Q-Fest is another one, and just briefly in the closing moments, you have one coming up actually.
Yeah, in March we have we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Robert Classic French Film Festival, which is archival presentations of French films. Nothing new, but things that people may be familiar with throughout the course of French cinematic history.
All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. It's always great to hear what's going on over at Cinema St. Louis. And we've got the information there for you on the screen. The upcoming, it's the St. Louis Science Fiction and Fantasy Short Film Festival. Now, the film festival itself, in conjunction with the St. Louis Science Center, is not taking place until May 4th, but currently registrations and submissions are being accepted. And for more information, you can go to cinemastlouis.org. And you can find out about all the other film festivals that Cinema St. Louis is doing throughout the year. There's more STL Live right after this. Please stay with us.